Hey guys, this is Mike, and you people are listening to the Computer Show. As usual, we are back again. If you haven't heard the last episode, go and check our YouTube video, and our you can also get our podcast on Spotify and Apple Tunes. So yeah, pushing forward as usual again. Another week, another episode. So we will be again talking about some interesting topics today. And first of all, as usual, I will be starting with Prashant and asking him how was his week, dude. So yeah, Prashant, go on, brother.
Yeah, hello guys. Good evening to all. Our week was more of college work this time because we had our CT1 just completed, so we had our lab work to do. Still, I'm thinking to skip one because on weekends I generally don't prefer to do any of the college work. Yeah, and then our college reopening dates came as it was expected only because now things are getting normalized and it's college reopening came and then we were like okay and we are not nobody will prefer to go and give papers and all, as for last 2 years we have not given any physical mode of exam, but still we are in better position than the last two batches, as we have the idea of how boards look like, and we have seen first year also, first semester. So at least we are in better position than the last two batches, like previous batches. So, and a bit of worry also because now things will be in the physical mode, and there is not so much of worry because we know and there's a question bank and questions are asked from that question bank.
Yeah.
So in physical mode questions are limited, in online questions were not limited, scope was a lot, but in offline scope is limited. So we are not that much worried, but still it will be a diversion from our main focus of doing the preparation for placements. So yeah, that's all. It was like ending of the week was not good with the informations which came, otherwise it was fine, going like how things were going for the last 1 month.
Yeah, I think I will agree with whatever Prashant said, because recently we got the news. Like for me, that news was like out of nowhere that came, because in my head it was always like, nah, this semester also we will be going online, but the circumstances changed, and government thought that yeah, it would be the nice time to bring the students back. Good for people who want to enjoy college, not good for me and Prashant, or even people who in third year who are preparing right now for another things. So yeah, it's a bit messed up right now, but I'm pretty sure with the passage of time things will get much better. So yeah, I think this was the introduction, not much big. Our CT2's CT exams got over this week, which was a huge relief, by the way. So after that, yeah, nothing special. Like, it was a normal week, I would say, as usual, a casual week. So yeah, moving forward, like, we will be starting our first topic, which is like, I'll be asking Prashant, like, Prashant, as you know, in the previous podcast you said that you chose Java as your language in which you preferred data structure and learning data structure and algorithm. Why do you think you chose Java over with the likes of C++ and Python also?
Yeah, firstly, it was like obvious a direct instruction or advice given by the senior, so I didn't think much whatever he said. I was I believe him blindly, straightforward, and he's done things that makes me to believe him whatever he says. He's a very good position, so he advised me to go with Java. Then after now time that time I asked him the reasoning, and reason being was, if I were in second year, I would have in the second year or first year, he would have given me advice for to go with C++, as it will be more helpful for understanding this, doing better in CP world. But he told me where you want to focus. I said obviously DSA oriented to placements. So he said to go with Java. And second reasoning, he gave that the OOPS concept you will understand very well. Like Python also have is object oriented only, but he said like it will be two sided. Like you will understand OOPS also, and if you see the backend of major companies, like big companies, in the end we all want to go there.
Exactly.
The fine company or Fortune 500 and whatever, like big company only you want to go, big tech companies. So he said their backend is in Java even now. So preferably it will be you will be in better position. And then even one reasoning even I had for not to choose Java, Python for by I had plans to do it in the seventh semester. So I was just confused between C++ and Java. Then C++ we straightway said no, like he said like with Java you will have two advantage. So I just took it, and Python I was like always reluctant to not to. It is like preferred by beginners because it is easier syntax and all, but like easy everybody can learn. Like the advanced Python again is tough. People think we can start easily and then we can do good. Yes, fine, you can start good, easy way. But Python, advanced Python is tough. It seems like in the end everything becomes tough only. So if you're for that reason people are going with Python, I'm always against. Like whoever asks me ki, which language should I use, and then they themselves they will like they must have read something and then they come only. Like people always ask anything after having some perception, and they just come to uh, like
The
to
final
verify
one.
or like to like the in the end they just want to like ask that perception they have made, they want to just get it like yes or no.
Yeah, exactly. They
And
want
if
their
you say no, they
perception.
will just counter you.
Exactly, they want their perception to be at the end, like like my perception at the end of the day was correct, and so I'm doing that. It's more of a kind of
Yeah,
clarification you want, more of a verification kind of thing, not
yeah.
like have a
Like
real
not of
discussion.
advice, they just like yeah
Exactly.
bring something on same ground.
Yeah, exactly, makes sense.
Yeah. So like many people ask me na, so even they must have asked you also. So that I felt always. Then I was like, जो अच्छा लगे कर ले,
Makes
because
sense,
they
huh?
are like they're not listening. So last में in the end I will say you choose whatever you like.
Exactly, exactly.
Because Python C it's easy, but like even and Aradhya has been doing, so I have heard a lot from him.
Hmm.
So Python, like every language will become tough in the end. It's programming language, and it's high level programming. So in the end, everything will become tough only. It's just syntax are easy, fine. But like in the end, it will become tough. Like when you will scale up things will be messy. So you cannot run from reason being ki, "Arey, this is very tough to understand tough things." Then only you will get paid more. There are
Makes
many
sense.
Python developers now.
Exactly.
So I was always like not in the sense ki no, it's Python Java stuff, so I will not take long text and long syntax and all stuff. I never had this key. That's why I will not choose. I was like, fine, whatever is the best, like whichever will help me to understand programming better, I will do it. Let it be how much tough it is. Already I've paid for being lazy in the previous, like we all know that phase. So I was like not running this time again. I will do whether it is tough or not, I will do it. So I chose Python, Java, that's why. And Python I will do, and like if I know any programming language one person know, just have to learn this new syntax in some other language. So and a lot of materials already available. That was my reasoning for not to, like three reasons which I thought in my mind. Two were given by the senior, and one reason which I thought was a lot of material are already provided in on YouTube. Like free sources for Python is allowed. For
Wow.
Java you may not find, because Java 8 9 it keeps on upgrading. So Python also comes, but still like it's going trending. So whatever playlist also you will get, they are the latest one. But for a curated playlist on Java, it is not available. So I went with Java. That's why like it's curated one, and like Coding Ninja is the famous platform to learn things. That's why I went with Java. And Python, if I want to learn, I told like the other idea which I had, I will do it from seventh semester.
I think what your reason of choosing Java was verified. I think it makes sense because even Java, like there's a stat that 3 billion devices in the world run at the back end of Java. So Java is clearly a very well known and prominent language in the field of computer science. On the other hand, I chose Python as a language to learn things because, as initially I started it with C++. I did algorithm in C++, and then with JavaScript too. The main reason I really chose this as my platform to learn data structure was I was pretty sure I was in the future I was learning about machine learning and AI. What my main motto was that C++ is fine, okay, great, but you can't build all backend on it, and I don't really wanted to go into competitive programming CP. So that doesn't make sense for me, because really if C and C plus both's main use are kind of just for competitive programming. Yeah, some people might come and say, yeah, but someone can make a server out of it. Yes, but how many really big companies use it? On the other hand, with Python, like literally every other company uses Python, every other company has a Python developer. So with Java, so with JavaScript. So for me it made sense, and I wanted to, at the end I wanted to learn machine learning. So for that I wanted to be accustomed with Python, so that I come, at least come to know basic libraries such as OpenCV. There are many libraries about your machine learning AI stuff. That's why I wanted my game to get into, like, right now, as you know, I have been coding in Java for JavaScript for like now what, 2 years. I started 2020. Yeah, 2 years I've been coding in JavaScript. So I have become familiar with JavaScript. But on the same level, I have not been so much familiar with Python. That's why I wanted myself to, first of all, if you know the data structure and nitty-gritty of language, which is kind of data structure and algorithm, you will understand the main fundamental how the real language works. And then you can go and implement them on other fields like machine learning, deep learning, and all those stuffs which people talk about. So that was my main reason I chose Python. Moving on, I think that's it. I think the discussion on this topic is done, or do you want to add something more on this, Prashant?
Yeah, that's all. We
Yeah,
can move to next.
yeah, I think, yeah. So the next question which I have is a bit, some people might not agree with this question, but I think for me, I find this question very prevalent. Many people find it very hard to get started with data structure. For them, like, like, I will do stuffs in backend, I will do stuffs in web development, I will do stuffs in everything, but it's very hard to concentrate on data structure and algorithm of a particular language and get very good at it. Why do you think so that is the case, Prashant?
Yeah, I will just take my example only because
Yeah.
after like fourth or fifth attempt of me coding, then in the end I was able to do. Like always in the 11th I gave, in the previous podcast I have said this. 11th I tried, but I was not able to, like I didn't get the interest because there also we were making patterns and all. So never got that like spark to do it. So then in the like five subjects we have to take, I took physical education. Then we came in the first year and first semester. There we had this C++ and stuff. So there also I was not doing. I didn't do very good in the that subject, that C++ subject, basic computer programming one wala.
It was basically
Then
C, Prashant, by the way. That was C, that wasn't C++.
C, or yeah, yeah, that's like
C is
just you
it.
can judge like
Yeah,
that the
C is
least interest
even
I
more
had in subject.
boring. Yeah, exactly. C is even more
Yeah,
boring. Go
yeah.
on, Prashant.
So that also went very widely, like very badly it went, and then somehow I passed, but still I was like, even then I didn't it didn't bring any new interest of me getting into programming. Then first year, and then like this was my third attempt, and finally after doing all the VLSI stuff, getting rejected from there, then I came in this computer side. So, and luckily this time I didn't start with DSA first, I started with web dev front end. So now I knew like in the end what I will be doing, like how things look like. And maybe this was the reason finally I got this spark to do programming. And then finally after in November onwards, I, because companies came, I got the purpose of like, knew the highlight in the end what I will be doing. This is just the clearing the fund, like this is learning ABCD of the alphabets of the programming. So now I know like what's the reason of doing DSA. So that reason of doing DSA is not clear, is not like explained to juniors and whoever comes first to learn language. They don't know how in the end it will look like. Like this is the fundamental, and then from here you will uh, construct upon. Like even when we learned ABCD, like alphabets, already knew how to speak. Only in a new way we had to like learn. Like we knew how to speak in Hindi, we just had to learn English like alphabets, but we knew in the end how it will look like. And this is not taught in programming. Like this is not like that reasoning and that logic is not given to student, like how in the end it will look like. So that's what, like, we all get access to all this, but nobody go and show the inspect element of Chrome. Nobody goes into, like, no teacher showed to me how it will look like, how, what's the need of all this. So one glimpse, like I'm not telling that teacher should like first do development. I'm just saying that teacher should show one glance he or she will give, so the spark will come. And thereafter doing DSA is not a big deal. Like basic modular algebra, that's all the mathematics it asks. So basic modular mathematics is all required and nothing very big like ML. Of course, that is that part there we should know calculus and all. Then data science part we should know probability and statistic. But a basic programming, I'm just saying the basic DSA. There a lot of mathematics is not required. Like basic fundamentals, you should be clear. Basic algebra. So so a reason of weak in mathematics, I don't feel like that's the reason of people not liking it. It's just like people don't practice and not practicing it because they don't know how it will help. So that's the reason I believe.
Uh, I think I will agree with many of the things you said. Like, I think the points you made were very relevant. I think one of the biggest reason why people don't really get into DSA is like they don't even know how to start. Like they don't even know like what is the first thing I should read. Like there's such a big structure that they will be confused. Like, is this the process I'm doing correct or not? Is this process doing correct or not? There are so many options, and I think in the midst of that, people get confused and lose the motivation to learn. For me, like, and one of the biggest things is that data structure is inherently a bit harder than web development things. 'Cause as we have both done both what how web development is and how data structure is. Web development is very easy compared to data structure. I know good amount of guys who are very good at data structure, web development, but when it comes to data structure and stuff like that, they don't do such good. I think my light just went off. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest reason people don't really get into it. But I think with the passage of time, people recognize it. The older they go and the more experience they have in this particular field. So I think this might be the reason.
Yeah.
I think moving on. This will be the last topic, and as we talked in the last podcast, we were saying that now we will start some serious things which will be going inside a bit of data structure. So the first thing that you learn that you go through if you learn languages, what are flowcharts? So Prashant, can you explain me what are flowcharts in any
Yeah,
language?
flowcharts is basically as self-explanatory, like the word say flow, and like flow is the directional flow of the all those what you should say like flow of the operations, flow of how data flow will be happening inside your program. That's the logic we think, and this is the first step I think which any programmer should do. Like even now, I'm on linked list still. Like it's not a lot. I'm a lot ahead, but still, I've done recursion. I've done like my fundamentals are done now. Only like I'm still doing the linear data structure only, and after like towards the March end, I will be doing starting with non-linear data structure. Still, but like any question I see, I still prefer like because that coding ninja sir, I'm forgetting that name, Parik Jain. He told like yeah, like in the initial phase, every uh, starter like even now we are starter only. We have done only for 2 months. A serious programmer like 1 year or more. We are like still a fresher to programming only like after like doing for 1 year or more. Then the logics already like data like all the how the program will how our code will flow, like how we should be structuring it, that automatically will happen. But in the starting phase we need to mold our mind that way that it like starting like now it's easy like to first initial days I was like my example I will give in December 1st, and still like I knew JavaScript, but still I was making this mistake. First I gave the like all the public static import Java util and file everything as scanner, everything again gave the main package, everything I gave. Then it was then I even made the scanner to take the input from like beat like user. Then but I've coded full thing. Then I just made it to run, and then it should have shown the result. Like it was basic summing some problem only, like to take input to take two input from user and then show the sum of it, basic one. But still I didn't declare the variable type of a and b, and directly I just gave scanner and all, and there while taking this a is equal to s dot next int that I gave, but I missed int for the a, like the variable of a, and same way for the variable type of b also I missed. So and in the flowchart if you see we declare the variable, and then how like in the flowchart we make the rectangular box, we write int a int b that way.
Yeah, yeah.
So during initial phase these things help. we don't tend to make them these silly mistake literally in the later half of our coding journey.
Hmm.
So and even now, like doing recursion, it helps. I still don't jump directly to coding.
Hmm.
And I've noticed Parik Jan while coding, sir, Parik Jan sir while doing coding, any
Hmm.
problem he explains.
Hmm.
Basically, first pick his pen, and then you must have observed he first all on the whiteboard and then he codes. Like coding part is
Yeah, yeah,
hardly
yeah, yeah.
out of 10
Exactly.
minutes. Coding is just 4 to 2 minutes, and remaining part is all logic.
Yeah, exactly.
So
He explains, like there are
pen is
many of the
required a lot.
videos in which he only explains, like a particular videos in which he only explains, and another video in which he codes. So yeah, I think, yeah, what you're saying, yeah, is absolutely correct. Yeah, go on,
Yeah.
please.
So flowchart, like in for a beginner especially, it is required. Like it helps to visualize things and visualize not thing like visualize visualize your code. How like even when especially when you will start doing loops, that it will help a lot. And during initial days, uh, for loop part, it will be very helpful. That's what I felt while. So in flowchart, like in my notes, if you see starting 10 to 20 page are all flowchart, whatever assignment he gave, even
Yeah,
extra I searched
yeah,
and
same,
did
same,
flowchart a
same.
lot.
Yeah, I was going through the revision of the notes which we were doing in January, I think 2 or 3 nights ago, and like the first few pages, I was going through like all flowcharts, full of flowcharts. That's why, while setting the topics, like in my head was like, okay, we gotta talk about flowcharts as a first thing if we are really getting into it.
Yeah,
I think I will
that's all
agree.
from my side. You can add on.
Yeah. I think, I will agree with whatever Prashant said, because flowcharts are basically the skeletal. What you basically do is a flowchart, but the only difference that flowchart is more in a diagrammatic manner, and you code the same thing in the particular language. So if like those are bricks, you gotta have the concept. If you're very good, like I remember, in the very earlier not episodes, like the first videos in which I was taking the course, one of the very first things was that you should always make flowcharts. The moment you see a program, and if you're not confident, go and make a flowchart, and break that code down. The moment you break that code down, you will understand the logic, you will understand what it's asking, and then you will be able to find your way through it. And there are many ways, like recursion, many different ways. So I think a flowchart is a very essential part, and as Prashant said, explained it in a very vast manner. I think it helps a lot, and I think anyone who is starting out, I think people generally ignore flowcharts. I think flowcharts are one of the most underrated aspect, and I think you should always learn flowchart. So I think that's from my side also. On this note, I think our whole discussion, all the 3 points we wanted to cover in this particular podcast are over. We will meet you again on the next week. Till then, bye bye. We will be back again. This is Mayank and Prashant, and you people are listening to the Computer Show. Bye.